Yo guys, it is Captain Thorpe here and welcome to the second Friday night debate. Last week we had Michael on, we were debating whether Ole Gunnar Solskjaer should be sacked. This week it's potentially a more controversial one. Today we're going to be talking about should more action be taken to stop racism in football. Today I'm joined by BenHB from ATHD Shark, and he's got his own channel. I'll link both of them in the description below, so go and subscribe to him. And let's get straight into it. So, the current protocol for racism, based on how UEFA are doing it at the moment, is to have a voiceover to stop fans from being racist. Then the second stage is to ask them to leave, and then the third stage is to stop the game. Now, is that fair? Yes, I think that is fair. I think that's adequate. I think the voiceover, maybe it won't be that effective, but it's fair to give people a warning. Then asking people to leave. If they're still being racist, fair enough, action does need to be taken. Ask them to leave, that's fine. And then if you have to postpone the game, that's probably as far as I would go. However, some people have been arguing that instead of just stopping the game, they should start banning teams from competing in tournaments. So like Bulgaria, obviously they were being racist. They should be banned from competing in the Euros, potentially even the World Cup. Now that's what I've got a problem with. First I'm going to ask for Ben for his thoughts on this. Do you feel that it should be right to ban teams from competing in tournaments due to racist fans?
I personally think it should be, I really do think they should stop banning teams. If you look at Bulgaria, they had half their stadium closed because of racism, and they had all this UEFA Respect banners up in the closed area. It's like, well, what's the point of putting those banners? Which is absolutely nothing. They then have this three-stage protocol, which, it did work. But I think, considering that the manager said he didn't hear any of the monkey chant, quite clear there was monkey chant, and he's resigned as a result today, and along with the whole football board, a Bulgarian player also admitted that it was kind of pre-decided that they were going to be racism at the game. I think that when they're targeting players over and over again, it's not like it's their first time doing it, it's the second time, as I said before. There needs to be now action taken that if teams are doing it over and over again, that it has to be a ban, because it's just unacceptable in this day and age to be shouting racist abuse at players. If you look at in England, I think we're not great at ourselves. I mean, Huddersfield fined £50,000 for wearing a fake kit. Marco Bielsa, Leeds United, fined £200,000 for walking along a public footpath. But then Millwall get fined, £10,000 for racism. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It needs to be harsh action taken. I'm not saying kick teams out of leagues for racism, but I think maybe on a world level, banning a team from the Euros really is going to, I think Bulgaria are going to qualify anyway, but if you're banning
that's what I've got a problem with. So I saw, I think Spencer FC had a tweet that said Bulgaria aren't going to qualify anyway, so ban them from the World Cup too. That shouldn't be taken into consideration, because if you think about it from an England perspective, if people treated us like that, even though we've got a chance of qualifying for future tournaments, and they said, well, you know what, we'll just ban them from 2 tournaments, why not? I think Piers Morgan said, ban them from 5 tournaments just to make a stand. From an England point of view, if that was England fans being racist, how would we feel if England were just, banned from playing in the Euros, playing in the World Cup, just because of the actions of a few fans? Is it unfair on the innocent fans, on the innocent players? Is it unfair on the country to ban them from a whole tournament? So for me, stadium bans, stopping fans from coming in the stadium is fine, but I don't feel that they can actually ban teams from competing in events. What are your thoughts on that?
I think you're right. 5 years, what Piers Morgan said, that's ridiculous. You can't have 20-year ban from a cup competition. I mean, that's just ludicrous. But I think stadium bans have to be implemented. I think maybe banning from 1 maximum is fine. I mean, did you see, was it Ajax this week have been banned from going to the Chelsea game because of crowd troubles in the Champions League? I mean, that is just, if they're being racist, then fine. But I mean, I think it's crazy that fans are getting kicked out of going to watch their team play because of troubles. I mean, I think racism is the worst to do, worse than any fan can be like.
Yeah.
But I think what Ajax did was they're passionate, and I think it's now becoming where if fans are being a trouble to stewards, then that is straight away it's a ban for the nation. Whereas I think it literally should be, if racism is just slam dunk, fine or penalty. I think Bulgaria, will be made an example of, because I think if they don't, they let this go and they say Bulgaria can compete still. I think maybe they ban them from, or let's say the next game they concede the next game, or if any racism happens in that game. So say England have to walk off as a result, which I think they probably were close to doing. Bulgaria had to concede the game because their fans have caused the game to stop. So would you agree that if England were to have walked off and the game was 0-0 and it's the 45th minute, and because Bulgaria's fans, would you say that England should have got the victory?
And for me, that would depend on whether it's in the UEFA protocol that England could walk off the pitch. So if the third stage is, yes, the game can be banned by both sides, then fine. If it was just England's decision and that wasn't part of the rules, then we have to throw the points away. It'd be our decision to walk off the pitch, so we shouldn't get the points. And if we're thinking that racism is a more important thing than the points, which it is, then that's fine. Then we're going to have to throw the points away. That's my opinion. I don't think we can gain the points for that. It's only if it is in the UEFA protocol though that the game should be stopped. Then it is stopped. Then Bulgaria should throw the game. But for me, I think one of the points I wanted to make was I want to stop making it a racism a football issue, because I think that it's got to be seen as separate issues rather than taking out bans in terms of the football world by banning teams from competing and that kind of thing. That's not getting to the bottom of why racism is a problem. It's more of a societal issue than it is a football issue, and I think the solution really has to be education, but not brainwashing. So when people go into schools and they get brainwashed into force-fed politically correct ideas, this historically it provokes challenges to these ideas. And because we're taught about loads of other things like gender and feminism and wealth in that way, when it comes to racism, if people start to get that idea that it's a controversial thing, it's a debatable issue, then they will start to try and be racist, to try and counteract that, to try and not be force-fed, not be brainwashed. They're going to try and just be racist just to stand up against that. Racism is wrong. Where you can say feminism, it's debatable. If you teach these things in the same way, then they're going to be seen as debatable issues. Racism shouldn't be seen as a debatable issue, shouldn't be seen as acceptable by some people, and because it's seen as acceptable by some people, that's why it's a problem. So for me, I think that education has to be the solution, and by doing football things, whether it's fining teams points or stopping them from playing in tournaments, that's not getting to the bottom of the problem. For me, what do you think about that?
I personally think we wouldn't see these issues. I think, and it is not to be stereotypical now, like we've seen as racist myself, but it's Eastern European countries and the Southern European countries which are, I think, possibly the worst for racism. Yeah. I mean, if you look at the people that are getting bans like Montenegro, Bulgaria, I think ridiculously unacceptable, because I think it was state sponsored to a degree. It is those Eastern and Southern European countries that are seen as racist. Like Italy, I mean, Romelu Lukaku shouldn't have to go to work and be abused, because that's what is happening for him. He goes to, was it Cagliari? And fans behind the ball are making monkey gestures at him. Yeah. He's taking a penalty. I mean, you don't see any other job where people abuse you for your your race. You wouldn't go up to a postman and make monkey gestures at him if he's black.
Exactly. It's like Tyrone Mings.
It's an issue that is really stemming football at the moment. I take your point about being the whole of society, but you wouldn't see that. Like as I was saying, a postman wouldn't get racially abused. If you know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I saw Tyrone Mings. It's his debut for England, and he's getting racially abused from the fans, which it's shocking. Really, you shouldn't be having to deal with monkey chants whenever you get the ball on your debut for England. It is shocking. Obviously, it needs to be stopped. Action does need to be taken. One of the criticisms that people get that take my view that you can't be banning football teams from competing is because you might be saying that you're choosing football over racism. But for me, racism is about equality, and for me, there's no equality about punishing innocent fans. to some football fans, supporting the country will mean absolutely everything, and obviously to many people, just being equal will mean everything. So why should we have to choose? Why is it one or the other? And as I keep making the point, it's about education. It's not about changing which teams can compete in events, because that's not going to solve anything. Education is what's going to solve it. Education is the solution. Why let racism impact football results, and then that will just let the racists win? You can't do that. Rivals going to end up going into the wrong end just to ban other teams. Do you actually feel that racism will be properly affected by banning teams from competing?
I'm just having a look at what the Bulgarian fans are doing, and monkey noises at the Black England players. I mean, that is just despicable. Nazi salutes. Welcome a Nazi. I don't think that is really affecting the players on the pitch, unless you're a Jewish player. So I think that is more of a that's a cultural thing from there, that they do Nazi salutes. I think it is from that area of the world.
Yeah.
But if you look at the Bulgarian charges, they got 4 charges or something. England got 2 charges for disruption of the national anthem and insufficient number of travelling stewards. I mean, how ridiculous is that? I don't think England would have been charged if it wasn't for Bulgaria getting charged. I think when UEFA see a chance to charge a country for money, they will do it to both teams. And I think UEFA is just such a corrupt organisation, and that's I also think why they don't want to be seen as banning teams like Bulgaria, because they ban them and they don't get any money back. If you know what so they won't get any money for future times they start going on the race of paper. So if they're getting banned for 2 years, let's say, from international football, which I think they should be getting banned for, maybe not 2 years straight away, maybe 6-month ban first of all, and then goes up to a year, 2 years, and then 3 years, and then banned from an international competition for, say, 2 times.
Yeah.
In that time, Bulgaria races again, who have to get more money because they charge them with a ban, well, not a ban, with a monetary fine.
Yeah.
But if they're not there, they don't get that money in. And I think it is greediness from UEFA which stops them from imposing bans like this. Because at the end of the day, if they get a 1 year ban from football, they'll get like €100,000 fine. If they're racist twice in that time, UEFA will get €120,000.
So you feel that UEFA, the reason they don't implement the bans is not because they don't feel that it would affect racism at any lower levels. You think it's just purely because of money reasons. You think it's because they're a corrupt organisation. That's the reason that they're not implementing bans. And if they really cared about racism, then they would do. Is that what you think?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I just think that if there's an issue with racism that much that they still really believe in it, they put out so many more stewards. They'd probably be looking at catching the perpetrators of it. I don't think they're doing that. I think they're more cared about what's in their bank account than what is doing it for the right of society and football.
Well, interesting point, interesting debate. Thanks for coming on, Ben. I'm sure we'll have plenty of opinions about this in the comments. Again, once again, shout out to your channel, BenHB and ATHD Shark. And links will be in the description. Please subscribe to both. And I'll catch you guys on the next video, which will be Super Sunday on Sunday, before the big match. But until then, adios.